All right.
Hello, Kansas City, and to the KUAW listening audience. This is Professor Smooth Jazz of the Smooth Jazz Show on KUAW. You can catch me every Thursday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., 6 p.m., sorry about that, just the hour show. And then again at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on Friday, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. But today we're here with the special guest, the vocalist and guitarist, Curtis Binky Womack, who is music royalty. I got this off his website. And there aren't many families that have had more of an impact on soul music than the legendary Womack family. And this talented family continues to make impacts through the emergence of Curtis Binky Womack, son of the late Curtis Womack of the Womack brothers. How are you doing today, Curtis?
Fantastic, man.
And thank you
Fantastic.
for giving this opportunity for me, short uh, notice, to give me this opportunity to tell the Kansas City audience and the KUAW audience about you, your music, and a little bit of history about your family.
Yes. Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Well,
So we had talked about some things that when I saw your name and start playing your music, I think one of the first songs I played was "Do It Again." Was it? I think that's the first one I played, and then you got the new one, Vitamin B.
yes.
So I kind of did a little research because I saw the name. I saw the name and I looked it up. So first I was telling Mr. Walker, I said, "Is this his son?" So we kind of looked up, seeing he has some nephews and things like that. So
Mhm.
therefore, I found out that you are the nephew and that your dad, uh, Curtis Womack, was also a singer. So can you give us a little update on that history?
Yeah. When they started out in gospel, like most acts did back in those days. And they were the Womack brothers. They came up to the church, playing all the church circuits with Aretha and Johnny Taylor and
Mm-hmm.
all of those people. And at this time, they were like elementary school age. It was five brothers: Bobby, Cecil, Harry, Curtis, and Friendly. And they met Sam Cooke in the church, and he became quite fond of him. And when Sam went to sing circular music and started gaining his success, he brought them out of the church and changed their name to the Valentinos. And they started making circular music. And my uncle Bobby, shortly after Sam's death, started playing sessions. Well, he was always playing sessions. He's a really accomplished guitar player, so he was
Mm-hmm.
playing and writing for Wilson Pickett and
Mm-hmm.
uh, all those guys, Aretha Franklin, and
Mm-hmm.
playing guitar for Sam. So he got really known. After the death, he went solo, and the rest is kind of common history of what he did in the R&B market, pop market.
So where did the Womacks grow up? I know you said they had went to L.A.
Yeah, they were born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And they grew up there. I think they came to LA in the early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are there any other? I was thinking that are there any other family members that are singing?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
other family members were singing. I mean, my aunt was Mary Wells, and
Mm-hmm.
my uncle Cecil was, he was doing all the writing for like Bloodstone and Teddy
Mm-hmm.
Pendergrass throughout the 70s, and he worked real close with Campbell and Huck at Philly International.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had his group, Womack and Womack,
Mm-hmm.
with uh, with with Linda
Mm-hmm.
Womack Cook, and they I don't know how many albums they had, but they were really successful. I think they had a lot more success overseas than here in America. They were
Mm-hmm.
known, but they weren't, you know, known as well as they were over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Womack sisters.
Mm-hmm.
There's Michi Wells Womack, who is a producer, produced a lot of rappers in the '80s and '90s, as well as myself. Started as a producer. I didn't start making albums after my uncle Bob passed in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And at the funeral, people were saying it's time for me to, you know, pick up the torch and carry it.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start kind of getting into music or playing guitar? Gonna have to hold on here. Is that you or is that me? We're still on, Curtis. Okay, we can you hear me now?
Okay, I think we lost
Yeah,
the feed.
we
Yeah, I can hear you. Everything's back.
okay. So I'm think what I was asking, when did you start the singing and playing guitar?
You know what? As a guitar player, I started that when I on my birthday and on Christmas, two guitars every year. And I had been playing guitar since I was 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
So by the time I was 17, I was a really accomplished guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing
Mm-hmm.
sessions with my uncles,
Mm-hmm.
because they were writing for everyone. So I
Mm-hmm.
would go in and play guitar on a Shaka Khan record or
Mm-hmm.
um, Bonnie Raitt record or sessions that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing guitar for a while, and when I probably after after high school, I started programming and playing piano and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started producing rap records. That's how I got all
Mm-hmm.
those credits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Now, uh, I'm trying to remember if there are any more Generation Womacks uh, singing
You
at
know,
this time.
there's there's the Womack sisters. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're
Hmm.
like maybe they're like a young In Vogue or something like that.
Okay, yeah, because it
They're
seems
they're
like
really.
Chris Clay, with Soul Tracks, he had uh, an article or something.
Oh, that's Chris.
Maybe
Yeah, yeah,
maybe I had
Chris
played
Rizek.
something by a young lady. It seems like that were Womax or something like that. Before I
Yeah,
even
yeah. That
saw your name, I was like, hold on. I was like, I know it's another. It seemed like I saw another, some more Womax or something like that. And when you hear that name,
yeah.
you associate. Well, I wonder if they,
They're actually singing. If you have the Vitamin B, have you heard the Vitamin B record, my
yeah,
new
yes,
single?
yes, yes. Uh-huh.
It features the Womack sisters. They're singing the backgrounds.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
look at a little bit more of that history. But yeah, that's a pretty nice song.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you listen to that, you can hear that family blend.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Because I was thinking, I was like, man, it seems like Chris had introduced another, Womack family member or something like that. So it says that you not only were you backing up for your family, but you worked with stars like Usher and Snoop Dogg. Huh?
yeah. Uh, at one time, I was working over I worked with um, grand jury LA. So I, I was doing records for like Baby Bash and Kid Frost and
Mhm.
Tupac, and doing a lot of remixes for Interscope. So
So you still uh,
it kept
stay
me
in
pretty
contact with
busy
Snoop Dogg?
in the loop. You know what? Snoop's has gotten he done left the planet. He's a big star. So I see him from time to time at things,
Mhm.
but not like not like before,
Oh,
not
okay.
like before.
Oh, okay. So if you see him, you tell him you got to do an interview with his cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I dropped that on it.
yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
ask him, does he know that Tiger is his cousin? Since Tiger's my cousin, that means Tiger's his cousin.
Okay.
TYG8 Tiger. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I didn't know Tiger was Snoop's cousin,
Well,
but that's just a small world.
yeah, well, we kind of found that out when we had the reunion. We had a Stevenson. See, we had the Stevenson. That's my mom's dad's side. And so when we had the
Hmm.
reunion in Vegas, a lot of the California people, actually, we had like 400 and something, about 430 something people show up. We had to turn some away. Most of them came from California area because it was in Vegas. So that's
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
when
that's
we have a
amazing.
reunion, we get information on who's related and things like that.
Yeah, that family tree can go far,
Oh,
really far.
definitely,
Uh-huh.
definitely. So you have four CDs, right?
Yes, this is
So
the
were
fourth one.
all of these the same genre?
Genre?
Yeah,
You know,
genre. I'm sorry.
no, it's like if you listen to the records, you kind of have to listen to them because they're all um, they touch the same genres. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But
Yeah.
when I first did the first record, this was the first record I made for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was used to producing a record here, a record there, writing a record here, writing a record there, and they could be like and scoring TV. So
Mm-hmm.
my my personal, my personal genre is that I listen to a lot of rock records. I grew up listening to rock,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up with a lot of rock guys. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up with Slash and Lenny Kravitz.
Mm-hmm.
Slash from Guns N'
Yeah,
Roses.
yeah.
We all went, yeah, we all went to the same school, and
Oh,
we played
okay.
in the same
Mm-hmm.
circles. You know, uh, Motley Crue
Mm-hmm.
guys. So it was I had a lot of rock influence. So
Mm-hmm.
when I first started making my own records, they were a little guitar heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and I came. It was the blend between rock and soul kind of
Mm-hmm.
but it was a little heavier in the rock side. And as
Mm-hmm.
I started to find my own niche, it I toned down a lot of the guitar stuff, and it's kind of like some of the fans that like the early stuff, they still like the newer stuff. They're like, I wish you would really, really go back to being,
Mm-hmm.
a little guitar heavier because I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you're toning it down on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I toned it down on purpose because it was weird when I just played whatever I felt. Um, I was classified as a rock artist, and you know how that can be, you know. So, and I think this is truer to, to what I want to be. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because it would be weird that they would be playing my records in the middle of a uh, hard rock um,
Mm-hmm.
set. Would be like some real heavy hard rock, and then I would come in, and to me, I wasn't playing rock like I could really play it. So it sounded like, in between these heavy mixes, it sounded to me a little light for where it was being played. Because that wasn't my intention to make a hard rock record, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess when you classified as a rock artist, now you're on a rock channel.
Mm. Oh yeah,
So
that's right.
now the records that I make and are they're showing up on the UK soul charts and
Mm-hmm.
like smooth jazz and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
blues stations.
Mm-hmm.
So and I guess if you go back and you listen to the first record up till now, you can really kind of hear some of the transition because the third record went totally R&B, and this fourth record is, I mean, there's still some little blues elements in there, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, it's smooth out. It's like the Isley guitar solos is
Mm-hmm.
one you on a Van Halen record or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing
How,
with
how how
go
how
ahead.
much did you hear? Did you hear the earlier records, or you just heard the Let's Do
No,
It Again and Vitamin B?
yeah, because that's what I heard. But when I was looking at some of your
Mhm.
on your
Looking it
website,
up.
I saw some of the other music. Now, did you have some?
Yeah.
Was there some gospel on there?
No, I never. I
Okay,
don't think I recorded any gospel
okay,
on any of mine.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. But the thing about being a smooth jazz DJ, the smooth jazz contemporary, is because it's influenced by so many different music. Rock,
Right.
blues, hip hop. Even contemporary. So you can you can almost get away with just playing just about anything, especially instrumental, but
Anything.
even with the R&B, because some of the indie R&B music, it still have instruments in it, and it could have horns, so it's hard telling whether
Right.
it's really R&B or whether it's smooth jazz, because a lot of the smooth jazz contemporary jazz artists, they use the R&B singers to, if they do vocals, they do the vocals in their music.
Right. Right. Right.
Especially
So
like
it just had it's
kind of like Boney James when he first, a lot of the Boney James earlier CDs, man, he had a lot of the female and what was it? Uh, what was his name? Stokely. He
right.
used,
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so when I'm playing music from your CDs, it still fits into my playlist.
Right. To the format.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when jazz was like they were trying to hit those charts,
Mm-hmm.
like when the Crusaders had did the record with my Uncle Bobby,
Okay.
and you had like Grover Washington, and those guys
Mm-hmm.
were doing, starting to add lyrics so they can,
Yeah.
you know, fit into those, that's when they start selling, uh, a lot of records. I think
Oh yeah.
I remember when the Crusaders, when my uncle was going to do the record with them, Inherit the Wind.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
And
remember that one.
yeah, he wasn't really familiar with them. He was like, at first he passed on the record. He's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a jazz singer. I don't do that. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey man, these cats, every record they do, you know, is a hit record. They're selling platinum records,
Mm-hmm.
multi-platinum, every release. So that kind of pushed him. He was like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he went and did the record, and that's one of the classic records that you will always hear
Mm-hmm.
on a smooth jazz
And so
mix.
what selection was that? Because I know I listened to the Inherit to Win because that's one of my favorite Jazz Crusaders.
Hmm.
So, so you remember what? I'm gonna have to look that up and see what.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
probably
yeah. Who
heard
sang
it.
the
I
lead on?
probably. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Once you hear it, yeah, my Uncle Bob sang the lead on that. When you hear it, it'll just come back to you because it's just one
Hmm.
of those records that's timeless, and they've been playing it for, man, 20 years.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's been quite a while because that's kind of when I first started listening to because Grover. George Howard, Jazz Crusaders. They were some of the first uh, jazz artists, and on the R&B, some of the we didn't have like a jazz station, so some of the R&B station here or the
Exactly.
station here played the
Those
jazz, and it was
records.
kind of funny because I graduated around 72, so I remember around 72, 73, 74. After I got up, they would always play a jazz selection right before the news would come on at the top of the hour. And so some of my friends be sitting there
Mm.
listening to see if they're going to say the name of the artist, but sometimes it would cut off, the news would come on. And
They
so
would just
some
sneak
of
it
my
in, huh?
friends would say, hey, that song came on again, but I didn't get to hear the name of the artist.
Yeah.
So later on, after I start getting heavy into smooth jazz and things, I'd hear these songs. I said, so that was the name of that song. After I,
Yeah.
would play it, I
You
said,
could.
man, I recognize it and say, man, they never was, we never could get to the name of the song. But a lot of times it would be Bob James, things like that. We could usually
Hmm.
tell if it was Grover, but sometimes, yeah. So you moved to
Yeah.
California when your family moved? Is that when you?
No, no. When they moved here, I wasn't born,
No, I'm
and
talking about. Oh,
I
okay.
don't know
So
how long they were here.
okay. So when
Yeah,
so
because when my dad and my uncles they came here, they were teenagers.
oh,
They
okay.
were
So yeah,
like,
that's right. You did say
you
they were
know,
teenagers. Oh, okay.
yeah,
So you grew up in so then you did grow up in California.
yeah. I grew up in L.A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So where all the Hollywood and the music producers and all kind of things like that, huh? Because I have a
yeah,
lot
where
of
everybody was,
yeah,
and everyone's kid was
yeah,
at those
hmm
schools.
yeah,
That's who
because
we went to school uh,
yeah, because there's
with all those cats.
a lot of jazz musicians. They say they packed up and went to California. Whatever the instrument, whatever they
Hmm.
had, and they didn't know what it was going to be like when they got there. They didn't have anything, and so because of you got social media now, different electronic ways to contact people before you get there. But back in the
Oh yeah,
day,
exactly.
they just loaded up and they didn't have anything lined up because they hadn't talked to anybody.
No, no, they just came here and they didn't know where they were going to
Yeah,
stay at, where they were going to live, but they were determined to make it work somehow.
yeah, yeah. So this technology a lot it really helped during the pandemic also. So how did you manage to work through the pandemic era when a lot of people were out of work because an artist, man, a lot of just CDs just not going selling CDs just not gonna make it for you.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't, really impacted
Mm-hmm,
because I was one of those guys that I wasn't at the beginning of my career. Well, I was
mm-hmm,
at the beginning of the artist career, which kind of made it work for me because
mm-hmm,
people were at home. They were forced to find, um, entertainment, and they
mm-hmm,
were looking for, music or movies.
mm-hmm,
And I kind of used that to my advantage because that was the time I was like, pandemic started. I was into my third album, and
mm-hmm,
that's when my career as an artist really blossomed because um, people really know the third album and this
mm-hmm,
album that's just out now.
mm-hmm,
So that's when I got the boost,
mm-hmm,
and I wasn't touring yet,
mm-hmm.
or anything
Okay.
like that. So I wasn't affected by a
Mm-hmm,
loss of
mm-hmm,
income. I was just making
mm-hmm,
records, and I have my studio here. People still coming in, and so I was good.
mm-hmm. So
I made my videos
mm-hmm,
and made the records um, and kept it. Well, started building everything up. Actually, that's when I got the, you know. the most notoriety.
Yeah, and so that vitamin B CD, the selection, you pretty much had a video. I think I posted it on LinkedIn. You pretty much had that video out by the time I was listening to the song.
Yeah, actually, that was one thing. I was supposed to shoot the vitamin B video, but I haven't shot it. I haven't shot it yet. Um, but I'm gonna I'm planning what's
Hmm. Hmm.
happened, and it got postponed. So there will be a video for vitamin
So,
B,
oh yeah, you're gonna have
but there are videos off of
like a video, yeah, like yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
like a full length video. There may be like a what they call art tracks,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
where the label releases the video on YouTube, but it's more just
Hmm.
a picture of the album cover or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are full videos off of the last album. There's a
Hmm.
video for Let's Do It Again. There's a
Hmm.
video for You're My One and Only, and a
Hmm.
video for Keep On Walking. So those
Hmm.
are three videos off the last album.
Hmm. Yeah, I've played various artists from that. Keep on Walking. Now, I'm trying to remember. I just remember Roy Ayers when he
Hmm.
first did it. And I was just trying to. I haven't really researched it to see who
Yeah,
the.
yeah, no, it's a different it's a different song because I'm
Hmm.
not familiar with the Roy Ayers
Hmm.
"Keep on Walking."
Hmm.
This is just like my own composition. You check it
Hmm.
out. It's a mid-tempo R&B
Hmm.
ballad, not ballad, but a mid-tempo.
Hmm. So, would you? So, what's the name of this? Would you tell the audience the name of your new CD? That's
The new CD that's out now is Mr. Womack 2021,
hmm.
and the last album was The Last Valentino.
Hmm.
So those are the last two albums.
Oh, okay. So, thanks again for giving me this opportunity because I didn't realize, I had your info, and I
Hmm.
was telling Mr. Walker, we got to get, man, he's one of the Womacs. I said, we got to get a interview, to let everyone knows that hey, that legend still, someone's still carrying that legend on, that musical
Yeah,
history.
man, it's a lot of history, in there, and there's a lot of I mean, because like you were saying about social media, it's different now. People, they know a lot more
Yeah.
than 10 years ago. You know,
Hmm.
people didn't read liner notes. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, people didn't know, like, that Bobby and Cecil were writing for Teddy Pendergrass
Hmm.
and, and Shaka Khan and the Blues or Bloodstone and,
Hmm.
all these different acts. And
Hmm.
then when we were coming up, as teenagers, that we were producing, me and my cousin were producing like Snoop Dogg and
Hmm.
Tupac and
Hmm.
TLC and Usher Records. And,
Hmm.
so then when I came out as an artist, people think I just came on the scene like, ta-da, I'm
Hmm.
here, but
Hmm.
it's like, no, man, I've been doing this, since pretty much since I was in junior high school.
Hmm.
So,
So, can you give the audience your some info and your web pages where you can be reached?
yeah, Binky Womack. Everything is Binky Womack, Binky Womack.
Mhm.
Um, Twitter, Facebook,
Mhm.
Instagram. There's binkywomack.com.
Mhm.
Uh, you can find me. I'm out there.
Mhm. Okay. Well, so the weather's nice out that way, huh? Or you,
Man, right now, I think it's 100 and something degrees.
woo,
I opened the,
man.
the window and it felt like an oven. I just closed it back.
Yep. You're letting in the hot
Yeah,
air, huh?
you're letting the cold air out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. And you got anything planned?
No,
Like,
everything. it's like, you know how we were just talking about everything was shut down.
Hmm.
So things are starting to open up. So, we'll see what offers, I'm ready for whatever. If I do a tour, if I, you know, my record was on the charts number 13 in the UK.
Hmm.
So there may be a trip over there.
Hmm.
And someone was saying something about Canada. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens, But as of now, um, no one is really going out because they don't know if you can get through the full tour. You know what I
I
mean?
know. Yeah.
What's going to happen? You book a full tour, you get 3 days, and it
Hmm.
3 days into it, and the whole thing cancels. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's going to be terrible. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. So I'm wishing you the best of luck and prayers.
Hey, thank
And
you, man.
thank you so much. Well, I was so glad that we could get you in this short time.
Yeah.
And to make, with the holiday ending, some people might be busy, just
Oh
traveling and stuff
man,
like
yeah.
that.
Well,
Yes, sir.
anytime, anytime, reach out to me, and we'll make something happen. And if I
Okay.
do come to Kansas City, I'm sure I'll see you
Okay.
at the show.
Yeah, you got to tell me if you got to Kansas City. Have you been to Kansas City before?
Not, I've been there playing, like behind people, but
Oh,
just
you
passing
have?
through. You know what I mean? Not enough time to like,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Oh,
see the
okay.
city. Just hit a
Yeah.
gig and then you're on to the next place.
Okay. Well, hey, if you happen to come through, you're gonna have to come through and meet Mr. Walker, KUAW, and appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
All righty. You have a nice
Hey,
day.
thank you, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you too.
All
All
righty.
right.